To some extent, that is just a necessary genetic variation which is what makes us diverse. There will always be some children that are much more extrovert, and there's always going to be some children that are a little bit more internal. And I was one of them actually when I was little. It is possible that he's not feeling quite safe yet to really let go and to feel his own strength. So it's not that he's incapable, but he's needing to cling and hold on. So there's more of his attachment needs that are still coming through. There might be something that took place in his life. You might be aware of it or maybe not. It might have happened when you weren't looking, that really scared him. For him not to become even more insecure, his growth needs as much as possible to happen in gradual, small challenges that can become bigger and bigger and bigger over time. But at pretty much his own pace, not to push him. If you push him too hard with your anxiety that he's not growing fast enough, that will make him feel even more insecure, and then he's going to go backwards. Trust him, trust his pace. There is a good reason why he's still clinging on. He needs to do that for a little while longer. The body has its own wisdom. Many little toddlers of 3 years of age start to feel quite envious, quite sad, that before they were seeing your eyes and now they're seeing the back of your head more often. Because they're too young to understand much better, they tend to blame the little baby for that. So it's not unusual that there is disharmony. 2 things that I will say. The first one is, make sure as much as possible that your 4-year-old gets separate time of one-on-one with you, one-on-one with her dad. At least a little bit every day, where it's all about her. Pay a lot of attention. When does your 4-year-old feel jealous and resentful of her sister? And what goes on for her in the moments leading up to that? They like sometimes to play the role of older sister, older brother, like a little mum and dad. As long as they're not obligated, not to force them or push them, and not to have this as an expectation of them, but under supervision, see if you can invite her to do something that she loves to do for her baby sister. Perhaps if she can read a little story for a minute, or to rock her in her cradle. Through those enjoyable experiences of caring, come to look forward to those moments more and more and more, and her capacity to care and be harmonious. It really sounds to me that your son has 2 conflicting feelings at the same time, which happens very, very often and very normally for all children and for adults as well. So here's his conflict. He wants to be in the class. He thinks he's going to have a lot of fun there. He's looking forward to it. At the same time, he is frightened to let you go and to be there alone. So when he says, no, I don't want to go there, that doesn't mean no to the complete experience. He's saying no to the moment of separation. He is feeling frightened of separating from you. It's not the fact that you aren't there that they're worried about, it's the fact of separating. That moment is frightening. And you can ask him, what is it that you don't like about being here? What's the worst thing about it? You don't like the teacher, you don't like the games, you don't like the children, or you don't want me to go away. What is it? Ask him what would help you what would make you happy to stay. Maybe he knows. If he doesn't know, here's something that I'm sure will help him. Wait until he connects with somebody there that he likes or that he feels emotionally safe with, like another child that is a buddy that he loves playing with, or the teacher. If there's somebody warm and receiving, Once he makes the bond, he will start to be able to let you go. Every developmental stage is quite different from the other, and the fundamental developmental needs, they change. So the way that we need to treat a baby is very different to the way that we need to treat a toddler. And as parents, and also teachers, grandparents, carers, how do we satisfy those needs enough so that the child will blossom at their greatest potential and move through to the next different developmental stage that is really roughly the primary school years. Remembering, I don't specialize in the needs for physical growth or the needs for cognitive, intellectual growth. I'm specifically paying attention to the psychological, emotional, fundamental needs, which is so important for our lifespan and our ability to succeed in our work and in our relationships fundamentally when we grow up. As a little child moves into that developmental stage between 3 and 5, the main theme here in terms of the layer of emotional intelligence that wants to develop is about freedom. And I will explain what I mean by freedom. Freedom is not our only need. Freedom is not everything. Freedom is specific. Freedom to have what? Freedom of expression, freedom of self-expression. That's what the neurology, the body of the child is actually looking for. Freedom to show their true feelings. And you'll notice that little toddlers are incredibly passionate about all of their feelings. When they cry with the whole body. When they're frustrated, they have a big tantrum. When they want to show how much they love you, they adore you, they climb all over you, they feel every feeling at 100%. There's a reason for that. The part of the brain that reduces the intensity of emotion so that we can speak clearly without overwhelming each other. That part of the brain is growing so rapidly, and it's still so unfinished that the feelings come through very loud and very colorfully. So they need to not be punished or shamed for the intensity of their emotion, so that they feel like at the core their heart is good, that all of their emotions are okay, acceptable, that emotions lead to love and connection. Now, emotion is different to behavior. Emotion is different to behavior. It's okay to feel all of these feelings. It's not okay to hurt somebody or to hurt oneself. So the other thing they need is a clear boundary of behavior. They need adult guides that are assertive. They don't feel safe if there isn't an adult that is setting the boundaries of behavior, simply because when you're at that age, 3 to 5, the emotions get very out of your control. Your brain has not learnt yet how to contain emotion. It's out of control. So they start to panic. They feel very insecure if the adult is not solid. So they need us to say no to what they do that might hurt somebody else or hurt themselves. How do we say no? In the past, people would use punishment or shaming, which was very wounding to the child. So what they need from us is a parent who is assertive and says no, and who explains why, but who will not punish. Don't accept hurtful behavior or disrespectful behavior, but do validate their emotion. And you can actually say, I understand why you feel angry, but I will not let you hit somebody. I will not let you hit me, or That's not okay. So they need an assertive parent, but not a punishing parent, and not a shaming parent. They're incredibly sensitive to shame. Being made to feel stupid or like there's something wrong with them, something unlovable about them. Little children are very sensitive to that. And shaming stays with you potentially for the rest of your life. It really gets in the way of your relationships and of your success in the world. So they need protection from shame. The other freedom is the freedom to explore, the freedom to safely explore the world. When a baby becomes a toddler and they start to feel confident enough and secure enough, they will want to walk away from you, they want to start running, they want to climb things, they want to pick things up and look at them and see how they work. They're little budding scientists and explorers, and they get such a thrill, a tremendous thrill. If we block their freedom to explore the world, to play with things, to climb things, to throw things, it gets in the way of their self-confidence. Self-confidence comes from exploring and trusting yourself that you have the strength to get through. And to continually to block that playful exuberance and self-exploration makes children very anxious. They don't fully grow into trusting their own internal strength. So the freedom to play, the freedom to explore, but how to make that safe. When they're that small, they're very poor at judging consequences of their actions. And that's normal. So we don't leave them alone. Let them explore. For instance, they might climb a tree, but let them use their own strength. Let them take a risk, but be ready to catch. So keep your eyes on them. Supervision, freedom to explore without suffocation, but with supervision, so they feel their own strength. They're learning a lot of language, and you will find that children of this age, they really protest. To be allowed to protest when they inevitably will find some disappointment in life. Say, for instance, they want to eat a lot more lollies, and you say, no, I don't want you to eat more of that. I'm worried for your tummy, and it won't be good for your teeth. Or they want to watch more TV, and you say, it's dark, we will all go to sleep soon. I don't like what happens if you watch more TV after this time, so I want to say no, we're going to turn the television off. Their disappointment and their frustration, they want to protest. And say, they might have a little tantrum, they get very angry. As I was saying earlier, they need the freedom to protest. This is very, very important. Very, very important. If you crush the protest, they can't connect with their own strength. It gets in the way, it blocks the development of independence and autonomy, which is exactly what parents want for their children. Let me explain what I mean by protest. It doesn't mean that you're allowing them to speak abusively towards you or somebody else, but the fact of being angry because they didn't get what they wanted in that moment, that is really okay. They need our support and our acceptance of their protest. Here's why the child's protest is very, very important. When the world is not okay, because 50% of life is that things work, 50% of life is that we don't get what we wanted, what we asked for. So life contains natural disappointment. If I'm the child, when the world is not okay, my protest is how I make me okay when the world is not okay. So if I wanted more TV or more cake, and mum or dad said no, I can come to terms with that disappointment once I have protested. When I say, I'm not happy, now I'm okay. Do you understand that? The protest makes me feel okay with me when the world wasn't okay, exactly how I wanted it to be. And now I can move past that moment. I can let it go and be happy again. And you'll see that the child who's allowed to protest without hurting somebody else, but just given the freedom to express their protest, they soon enough forget. That's what helps them to move on, to move through and find their happiness in a new connection, in a new beautiful moment. Core fundamental needs for the 3 to 5-year-old: freedom to play, freedom to learn through play, very, very important. Freedom to explore the world under supervision. Freedom to express all feelings and be validated for the feelings. And the assertion, number 4, of strong boundaries of behavior from the elders so that they will not be allowed to hurt themselves or to hurt somebody else.